designed our weekly video segment to take you into the back shelves of your local video store, back where it says horror videos, and where kids are devouring some awful films that we call the video nasties.
Are you freebasing? Inquiring minds want to know.
I have to break free from this culture of mechanical reproductions and the thick incrustations dying on the surface.
Fuck the prime time, bitch!
Monmouth the new Fletch.
The pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite. As for our deaths, come with me and be immortal.
We have such sights to show you.
Gotta return some videotapes.
Hello, horror hounds, and welcome to the It Slays podcast. I'm your humble host, Rowan.
And I'm Zinzan's bartender, Mike.
And it's Jill.
And we are back. We are Coltonless this episode. He is off to work. I think he talked about that last episode anyway, that he enjoys picking themed months and then just fucking off for them. So,
he's in a foreign country. Give him a break.
Foreign country.
Foreign country. Mm-hmm.
Can't you, like, spit on that island from Newfoundland, or,
You could literally get there in a rowboat.
we should have just rowed to him, and, we could have brought the party to him. Wee. So this is our beginning of our May. This is May 24. I don't have Colton to judge me on the delivery of that or anything, so I feel good.
It could have been better.
Yeah, it could have been better. Mike already looking thrilled to be in another themed month.
A24.
The way everybody gives me shit for hating on A24, when I do not hate them, it's the fanboys.
That's fair. So you don't like Colton is what you're saying.
It's like Swifties, you know? It's like, it just ruins the music.
But before we get into all of that, we know where we're starting. What have we been consuming? What have we been reading? What have we been watching? What have we been listening to? What have you just generally been up to? Jill, we're going to start with you.
All right. So I've been doing a lot of reading. So I just finished a novel called A Good Happy Girl, which is a really weird novel about a girl who is like
happy,
very neurospicy and traumatized and gay. And she's like neglected by her parents, who are in jail for neglecting her grandmother to the point where she almost dies. And then it's weaved into this story with her navigating that with this polyamorous relationship with another woman couple, and how that affects the way she attaches to people, and like kinks and stuff. So I thought it was interesting because the entire time I was just like, I can't believe someone wrote this. So I don't know. It was a good read. If you're into that sort of thing, maybe check that one out. And apart from the Scissor Sisters anthology that I was telling you guys about, which was amazing, by the way. Definitely check it out if you can get your hands on it. But I also read another anthology. This one was dark fairy tales, but also included a lot of queer horror, which is my new favorite genre to read. So if anyone listening has any suggestions, please send them my way. Also really into short fiction right now. So anyways, the title of the book was Les Petites Morts. I loved a lot of the stories in there. Some of them are really weird, but my favorite one, it's called A Greed of Flesh by Kelsey Christine McConnell. And I kind of sent a screenshot of it to the group text for the podcast. And I think I said it was like sexy Selkie tusk. So yeah, it's a sexy story about Selkies, and the folklore of Selkies is that they're basically mermaids in seal skin, and they're able to come on the land and take off their skin, bury it for later, and then seduce men, and then they can just put their skin back on and go back to sea. But in most of the folk stories, men become obsessed with them and marry them or hide their skin from them so they can't escape. And then the Selkie ends up never being happy. And this is what happens in this story.
So they become sulky? Sulky Selkies?
Sulky Selkies. That will be the name of the anthology that me and you edit together.
Yeah, we need to do that, like, right now.
Absolutely.
Anybody has any short fiction on sulky Selkies?
Dude, I bet Newfoundland I bet there's a lot there.
Oh, there is for sure.
I'll have to look around. But yeah, that happens in this story. This man like hides her skin from her until she almost dies, and then she gets revenge on him. And I think the justice is like really poetic, and it's really gorgeous prose. I don't think that writer has done much else, but I love finding writers they created something great and they're just starting, and you get to follow them as they get big. So I love that. I'm obsessed with it. And then for movies, me and Rowan covered Infested, Humane, and we're gonna be covering Tarot for
By the time this episode comes out, Tarot will be out.
So if you want to hear us talk about that, check out those episodes. I went back to Straight Jacket Talk just after doing the Jennifer's Body episode with them, and I did Serial Mom with them.
One of my favorites.
And it's so good. I had never seen it before.
Oh my God, Jill, I wish I had known that. Like, literally one of my all-time favorite movies. I can, like, if you put it on, I'll just sit there. It's so annoying. I'll just sit there and, like, literally say every line of dialogue along with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, like, good one-liners, and it's just something that holds your attention for, like, the entire time. I thought it was so funny, so brilliant, so cunt.
Absurd as fuck.
Absurd as fuck.
Yeah.
Love it. Were you going to say something about that, Rowan?
No, I've never seen it. No.
Oh my God. Okay, you got to watch it.
It's on my list.
Yeah, definitely. It has fucking Ricky Lake.
Fun.
And
Yeah,
it's
Ricky
Matthew Lillard's first movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically a Scream prequel, so you have to go watch it. So yeah, check out Straight Jacket Talk. It's not out yet, but should be out soon if you want to hear that or watch that, actually, because it's a video.
Mama's watching Annie.
With a fucking lamb.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Is this what? 412 Pussy Way?
4215 Pussy Way. How dare you?
Oh my God. That's like programmed in you.
Yeah, Jesus.
I literally, when someone asks for an address, I'm like, 4215 Pussy Way. 212, fuck you.
Yes. That's my favorite follow-up.
Yeah.
So good. Fuck. Okay, and I jumped on the Late Night with the Devil bandwagon finally.
Nice.
Like a month later after everyone else has seen it. Honestly, really loved it. Love the 70s vibe, the talk show atmosphere. And I was surprised I liked it because, you know, I'm always shitting over like Exorcist and possession movies. But I really liked it. I thought it was pretty awesome. And that's all I have. What about you, Rowan? What have you been up to?
I feel like this is 2 episodes in a row. It's going to be like fairly short for me. Just been a hectic week. But I have read a book and like pretty much finished a book by the time you listen to this. So I went back on the Eric LaRocca train and I've been reading You've Lost a Lot of Blood.
Good one.
Nice.
Which is fantastic. I really enjoy it. It's like very, it's like non-linear. It's about, obviously, it's like a gay couple that murder people, but specifically like one guy. But then it's like poems and recordings that he's done, and also chapters out of a novel that he wrote and self-published. And you just kind of are like putting these all together to create what happened in a narrative. And it's been really, really good. It's like the second Eric LaRocca book I've read that I absolutely love.
Nice.
Yeah, he's excellent. That one is also really good because when he started making it big, he keeps that one independently published and donates the royalties to Trans Lifeline, I think it is.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Because he could have like, a major publisher for it, but then he wouldn't be able to donate all the money, which I think is just like, he's such a cool guy.
Yeah, so definitely support Eric LaRocca. That's as far as my reading has really gone. As for watching, still on the Big Brother train. I haven't watched, I think tonight's like the newer episode, but Newfoundland's Tad still kicking on it and looking like he's going to make it to the finals.
It's Colton's bestie.
Yeah, like super, super pumped for that. I've been enjoying that. And then I did get to see a couple movies. Did a rewatch, watched The Town, of course. Just like one of my all-time heist movies, an all-time Boston movie. I really like it. So it's always a good time when I watch it. And then I was kind of basically trying to watch a mix of new stuff and stuff I'd missed kind of at the end of last year and everything. So I checked out Silent Night, which was not fantastic, sadly, which was John Woo's latest film. And it was kind of weird. There's like pretty much zero dialogue in it. It's like about a guy whose son like gets murdered by LA gangs, like just in like drive-by stray bullets, and basically gets like hit in the throat. I'm not really sure why no one else talks in the movie. He's the only one that is mute, but they decided to go with the choice of no one talking in this movie. So it's just like a one-man revenge movie. Kid Cudi's in it. It just wasn't very good. It was a lot of like CG effects work that wasn't great. And I'm someone that like loves like 90s John Woo. I mean, like he's a fantastic director. This just sadly like isn't it, which is sad because it was kind of his return to American filmmaking. I got to check out Wonka.
Oh boy,
big one. And honestly, I thought it was just like meh. Oh my goodness, Mike, don't talk about a children's movie like that. Jeez. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I don't have any real big connection with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like I've seen it, but it's not a movie I overly liked.
Shame on you.
Old one or a new one.
See, you were just not versed in Roald Dahl.
I've read it. Like I like Roald Dahl's writing. And obviously I was interested about this with Timothée Chalamet and the cast, like, like Key is in it from Key and Peele, and like it's a great cast. Obviously the director, the guy made the Paddington movies, which I absolutely love. And yeah, I just thought this was like super, super mid, as the folks say. The songs weren't catchy. I mean, kind of the beauty of Roald Dahl is like his stuff is pretty like scary. It's got like this
it's
like
very dark,
twisted dark tinge where this
very dark.
He makes stuff for everybody.
Yeah, this just like completely takes all of that out and just makes it like a G musical that's pretty much always happy.
It's like, did you actually see the original? The original is so fucking dark and twisted and absurd. Like,
and Gene Wilder, like, you genuinely feel that he's gonna kill a child. Like, he's scary, man.
I didn't think Timothée Chalamet was necessarily like bad, but
he got the bag.
He got the bag. I just don't think he had a lot to work with, unfortunately. So it was kind of a miss. And, Jill already said infested, humane. She said it wrong. It's Tarot.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm gonna murder you.
Yeah, I guess you gotta watch the movie to get the inside jokes. But
please don't.
Yeah. But watch those, and then I only have two more things. So I'll start worst to best. So obviously, because I'm a glutton for punishment, I watched Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver, which is Zack Snyder's second part of Rebel Moon that came out on Netflix, and I'm glad to report it is just as terrible as the first one. I feel like the only thing that might make this like somewhat better, but still not really, is that it's less talking and just more like action fighting scenes. But, like, none of it matters. Every scene is a ripoff of a Star Wars movie, like, right down to its, like, lightsaber fighting and all this kind of stuff. Wait,
is this not part of the Star Wars universe?
No, so basically what this is that the story is that...
I thought it was like a spin-off or whatever.
No, Star Wars had tapped Zack Snyder to do a Star Wars movie.
Oh, that would have been cool.
He had written a treatment. They said no. So he then sold it to Netflix and made his own universe.
Oh, okay. Fuck yeah.
So,
go, Zach.
And it's just not good. I mean, obviously.
It's like Star Wars, but make a cunt, right, Jill?
I don't care if it's not good.
He definitely sets the record for most slow motion scenes in a movie. There's like 300 in every one of these. Like, people will be talking and going in slow-mo. Like, I don't know what's going on. It's very Zack Snyder, where it's like mostly just like opera music and slow-mo scenes going on that create, I guess, what he thinks are feelings. I'm not sure.
Are you shitting?
100%.
On my man right now.
100%. And I said that, you know.
I was like, Ro is always shitting.
Well, and I already said this during the first one. Like, I'm not offended by Zack Snyder's stuff. There's lots of stuff I like. I just think there's a really
Two of his movies are my favorites. Can we please talk about, like, his early work? No, we won't. But anyway.
Can I nominate Sucker Punch for the show?
I was going to say, like, Sucker Punch is legitimately, I was there
Punch.
Opening night when that came out in theaters. Like, I bought it on Blu-ray the day it came out. Like, I saw it like 8 times in theaters. Like,
this is not Sucker Punch. This is yet again another movie that is either A, written by Zack Snyder, or B, written by ChatGPT. Like, it's just really, really bad. It's like,
to be fair, that's probably half of what Netflix is putting out now.
100%. Like, everything just looks like garbage in it. And, like, this is, like, almost a $200 million set of movies. Like, I just don't know where the money went. So, I mean, his pocket is where I'm going to assume. So, hopefully, I know in our group chat, Colton comforted me because I'd read that he wanted to do 6 of these. And he's doing a spin-off cartoon. And by the sounds of it, this is bombed so hard that this is the end of it. So, you know, it happens, I guess. I feel like this happened with his, was it Army of the Dead? Was his zombie one on Netflix that was supposed to have, like, spin-off cartoons and all this stuff, and then I think it got, like, one spin-off, and they just kind of killed it because no one watched it. And I will say again, just don't waste your time. I said this on an episode when I talked about the first one. He's literally re-releasing these again in, like, less than a year, because he did R-rated cuts.
I was going to say different cuts, yeah.
And he says those are going to have like 3 hours of extra movie.
No.
It's a money... No. It's like the biggest scam of scam jobs to try to recreate this... release the Snyder cut.
Well, see, that's the thing. Again, fanboys ruining everything for everybody. Like, that has now tainted every movie release from here on out.
It's a little different when studios, like, shoot down the cut and then it gets released. It's different when you shoot it specifically.
Yeah, but making a cut specifically so that you can
re-release the same
re-release
movie
it later.
Again. Yeah. So, yeah, ignore
that's
this.
That's some T-Swift, like, level of money grubbing, right? Like, just literally, like, give me your cash now. It's like, what's his name in Lord of the Rings, Smaug or whatever? Like,
you're gonna make enemies today on this podcast.
I know. Listen, that's fine. I make enemies every day.
I love it.
So, and then I'll talk about the good thing I watched, which was the feature film debut from Molly Manning Walker, which is How to Have Sex. I got to check this out, and this hit hard. This was really, really well done.
Who is this?
She's a British filmmaker. This is essentially like if you took, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a British version if you took Kids and then mixed it in kind of with Spring Breakers. It's
gotcha, yeah. No, it's just the way that you said it. I thought that she was like somebody who was well known, and then she was
should be. I feel like she probably will be once this is still like doing small theater runs and stuff.
Okay.
And this was like, it's shot so well. The music's awesome in it. Like, I'm just letting you know, Mike, it's like amazing music. But it's like one of those movies, as it goes on, it's just like, it's kind of like I feel people's first experience with Kids. It's just like heartbreaking, and you're just like destroyed by the end of it, which it's just interesting to see, because like I said, I feel the biggest comparison is Kids, but take the subject of consent and sexual assault, sexual harassment, especially in like these spring break coming of age situations with alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
But actually done, like written and directed from a woman's perspective on this. And I've just never seen anything like this. And yeah, it hit pretty hard. I was like, wow.
Do they have James Franco holding guns and being like, look at all my shit?
Luckily, they don't.
I was going to say, I hope if a woman is directing it, that James Franco is nowhere near the set.
Spring break forever.
Yeah, no. Luckily, he's far away from it. I'm also not a Spring Breakers guy, but
dude,
love that movie. This did the star of this is Mia McKenna Bruce, who's like, yeah, she's like gonna be big. She's fantastic. Pretty much doppelganger visually and vocally of Florence Pugh. Like they could literally be sisters. They sound.
I was hoping you were going to say Florence and the Machine. I want to see Florence Welch in a like horrific, depressing, existential kid.
She'd be so
getting
good.
Up to shit. I know, right?
Actually,
and she'd be like,
more.
Whoa!
Yeah, need more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like super fantastic. And then I really enjoyed Sean Thomas in it, who kind of has like in this movie, like it felt like they were kind of going for like an Angus Cloud vibe. So, it's kind of like white guy, tattoos, like MGK kind of style. And he was also like very fantastic in it. So, yeah, I just thought overall it was really, really well done. If you can find it, like I said, it didn't play at any big theaters here. It only played at our independent theater in Wolfville. So, yeah, that's all I've been watching. Mike, let's shoot on over to you.
Okay, so I actually have been doing things. Not a lot, but like... in between my bouts of like still having seasonal affective disorder, even though it's May, because we literally got a little bit of sun today for the first time in 2 months.
Yes, honey.
So I'm reading 3 things at once, which is the usual. So I might have mentioned last time, I'm not sure, how for the Every Horror Movie on Netflix book club, we're reading Thomas Ligotti's nonfiction book. It's kind of like existential philosophy.
It's terrifying.
I'm enjoying it, but I'm literally getting through it like 2 pages at a time because it's just a lot. It's like
how's that helping? You're sad.
It's really not is the issue.
Okay.
If it was May of last year at this time, I would be like chewing through it in 3 days, but it's just like a lot. It's like being punched in the face. And then saying, "Thank you, sir, may I have another?" And I also don't know if I can't remember if I started this before our last recording or not, but Garrett Conley, who wrote the book, I don't know if anybody has seen the wonderful movie Boy Erased.
No, I know it, but I've never seen it.
It's about conversion therapy camp.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman's in it. It's amazing. I think it was like nominated for a bunch of Oscars. Anyway, he wrote the original book. It's like a memoir because he was sent to conversion therapy camp when he was a kid. Anyway, he just put out his first novel, and it is called, hang on, I always forget the title, All the World Beside, and I'm reading that right now, and it's really, really, really good. It takes place in, like, Puritan New England, which, banger, of course, and it's the, like, town preacher and the town's doctor fall in love. They're both men, obviously, and have this like affair, and like it's like about their kids too, and like anyway, it's fucking fantastic so far. I was like not sure because like I was like, okay, your big huge book is a memoir, like is fiction really gonna work for you? Because sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, but it's so far it's excellent. So and also, so I have to throw this out there because for months Spotify was teasing us with the like, oh, we have audiobooks, and like you couldn't even buy them on the mobile app, which is what most people like listen to Spotify on probably. You literally had to either, I don't even know if you could do it on the desktop app. I think you had to go on the website, and now they have released, and like, I don't know, people aren't talking about it a lot, that you get 15 hours of audiobook listening with a month with your premium Spotify subscription.
Yeah.
Which
it's not free?
What? No.
The whole thing? Like, that's all you get? Is that many hours?
Yes, because audiobooks are like $15 to $25 each.
I had no idea.
Yeah, but anyway, 15 hours is, depending on the length of the book, you could probably squeeze 2 shorter books in there or 1 longer book.
And you can get
but it's a really
audiobooks
good deal.
like,
And you
through
can,
library apps and stuff,
Yeah.
but usually they only are allowed to like still rent out the audiobook
Yeah, I was going to say, but it's like, it's
copies.
literally like you might have to wait in line for it, even though it's digital, because
they can only have so many people listening at once. Where Spotify, it's whenever.
Yeah, so I just want to throw that out there. Anybody who's not taking advantage of this, because I think it started like a month ago, like, do it. If you like books, listen to your 15 hours a month. Like, it's such a good deal. Don't let it go to waste. Ring them for every cent that you can when you're paying for this subscription. Anyway, so I started, because I obviously want to take advantage, I started listening to a new audiobook, as well as the 2 that I'm reading, and it's called Providence by Craig Wilsey. I had never heard of it before, but it only came out a couple weeks ago, so that's why. And it popped up when I was doing some searching because it was compared to The Talented Mr. Ripley, which of course I was talking about diving back into last week, and Donna Tartt's The Secret History, which is an old favorite of mine and is now like big on TikTok or whatever. So I was like, oh man, that sounds cool. So anyway, I'm listening to that now and it's fucking excellent so far. I'm actually kind of addicted to it. And right before we started recording, I was like, listening to it while I was eating. And I'm like, oh God, it got to this like really hot sex scene. And then I'm like, shit, I gotta fucking start recording now. So yeah, so far so good. That's what I've been reading.
So we'll know what your hands are doing.
Oh my God, the camera starts shaking. The microphone's wobbling back and forth.
You're gonna be like that guy on CNN that got fired during the pandemic.
You guys are like asking me questions and I'm just like not even listening because I got Spotify. I did watch a couple of movies as well. So one thing that I'm glad I finally got to watch was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like I don't know what you want to call it, like the reboot, the sequel, the requel.
Oh, from Netflix?
Yeah, the one that went on Netflix. The one that got delayed by like 2 years.
Yeah.
Because, see, it came out right after I got rid of Netflix. So I was like, oh, well, I'll watch it whenever, and thinking they'd put it on Blu-ray, and of course they never did. So I kind of forgot about it, and then everybody like seemed to really hate it. So I was like, okay, maybe it's a good thing I'm not going to get a chance to watch it. And the other day I was just like thinking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I was like, I'm going to fucking watch that now. So I tracked it down. I subscribed to Netflix, wink, wink, and I watched it, and I actually like quite enjoyed it. Like everybody seemed to have a really visceral reaction to it, and like thinking that it was awful. And I'm like, I don't know. It was, the first little bit was a tiny bit boring, but like when it got going, it really got fucking going. And the actress that they got from Mandy to come back and do the Sally Hardesty character,
who's also in Tarot.
Yeah. I saw she was in Tarot, and I was like, fuck. I really wanted to see it anyway, and I was like, of course. But yeah, so she was phenomenal, and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Like 1, 2, Next Generation 3, and then this, as far as I'm concerned.
I haven't seen it yet.
I feel like me and Colton shit all over it in the now slang.
Oh, I feel like you did too, yeah. And
I remember, though, I think we both said that it was better than we thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I just didn't think like 1 and 2, you just can't. And even the 2000s remake, I think those 3 are so good.
Yeah, and I mean, and like this could have, I think a lot of people hated it because it was very much like, ooh, like poking fun, because, it was like, oh, when he comes and attacks a bunch of people, it's like they're all there filming with their phones and stuff, and it was very much like, tee-hee, like nudge, nudge, wink, wink, but like, I was like, oh, this was actually kind of well done.
And now that I kind of think about it, it was actually kind of one of the, it was like the first of many to come of like, I feel like that was kind of the first big like Gen Z, aimed at Gen Z horror movies.
Yes, because they were all very much like, the like, we're like just famous on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and we have money and we're gentrifying this town now, and it was fun. I thought it was actually. And the last, 25 minutes was, legitimately, I think, fucking nasty. Like, there were, literally, there was 3 or 4 times when I actually squirmed. And I was like, man, I haven't done that in a while. So, shit on the movie all you want, but like, I don't know. I thought it was pretty effective.
It's kind of one of the great franchises when you really think of it, because the entries are so different. Like, they're always just like a different tone,
it's not the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of like the story is always the same, but the approach to it is always like wildly different.
Yeah.
Depending on kind of like what decade they decide to reboot it in. Yeah. So I watched that. I loved that. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but like I enjoyed it. It was fun. You know what I mean? And other than that, I rewatched. I'm acting like I've never seen these movies 800 times. I did this like cool, I'll call it a double feature over 2 nights of like really gay movies. One is one called Oh Phantasma, and I saw it for the first time when I was like a teenager on TV at like 2:00 in the morning, and was drawn in by like the immediate nudity and sex in it. And then continued watching it when I realized that it was like this insanely fucked up, like, again, like existential movie. So I rewatched that for the first time in years and just loved it. It's one of these movies that is like a cult classic, and the director has put out like a lot of movies since and is, you know, kind of like well respected. But this one, for some reason, there's no like Blu-ray, no 4K. No, you can't buy it like digitally on iTunes or anything. Literally the only way I can find to watch it is on Tubi.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So it's on Tubi, which is really good. So by the way, if you're into that thing, and I know it's very niche, but like if you like dark, twisted, existential, full of nudity and like not simulated, very real sex, watch this movie. But also it's very grainy and like looks like 480p, you know what I mean? Like it literally looks like what the DVD from like 2002 probably looked like. So, you know, it sucks that it's a really beautiful movie and the only way to see it is like really garbage quality, but you know what? It's free, so who cares? And then I followed that up with the amazing and visually stunning, and you can see it on Criterion Channel and buy the Blu-rays from Criterion and everything. Wong Kar-wai's Happy Together, which was from 1997. And it's also sort of existential. Anyway, it's this gay couple, and they're in Argentina and break up and, you know, try to live their separate lives and make money to get back home. And then, you know, they get back together and they have a very dysfunctional relationship, and they live in this little shitty, like 1-bedroom shack apartment where the like walls are falling down and stuff. But it's like so fucking beautiful. It's visually beautiful. It has an amazing soundtrack. The acting is great. Like, watch it. It's one of the romance movies of all time, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that was a weird double feature though. It was like 2 kind of like existential gay movies that are like very extremely different. I love that. Cool. So that's pretty much all I've been consuming.
Well, with that, this is going to be pretty quick. Why we chose our movie, which, like we've been doing with all theme months, we put in our picks and we hit the randomizer because we can never agree on anything.
Nope.
And this was a Mike pick, 2018's In Fabric. So why don't we just get into the trailer and we'll be back with the synopsis and first experiences.
A purchase on a horizon?
I'm just looking, thank you.
The hesitation in your voice, soon to be an echo in the recesses of the spheres of retail. The dress is your image, onto what you project through an illusion.
I'm just going on a date. I don't normally wear this kind of thing.
Be bold. Your date will compliment you. I would like you to announce the numbers to your telephone.
01632 960 7
and 7
8
and 8 and 6 and stop.
As promised.
Thank you.
You look different.
Oh my God, what's that? That looks nasty. Maybe just the washing powder. I hope it isn't catchy.
How's it going, Sheila?
Everything's fine.
What happened to your hand?
Washing machine went bananas.
You who wear me will know me.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's just a cheap bit of mystery.
I think something's wrong with that dress.
Don't tell me you're scared of a dress.
The dog ripped it to pieces.
It's brand spanking new almost. Such a pretty dress.
Anything nice in the sales?
Just a dress.
2018's In Fabric is written and directed by Peter Strickland, and the synopsis is as follows. A haunting ghost story set against the backdrop of a busy winter sales period in a department store, following the life of a cursed dress as it passes from person to person with devastating consequences. So we will start with, is this your first experience? Is this your first time seeing it? Or has Colton rubbed off on us and we're all little A24 fanboys? I know for a second there you guys thought I was still in Mike's frame of mind talking about Colton rubbing off on us, but
fuck you.
I'm being real serious right now. Mike, this was your pick. We'll start with you.
I had never seen it before.
Love it.
I had it on my list for years because it just looked really cool. But also, it's funny because I have had that director's previous 2 movies before that on my list of, like, I need to watch this soon. And those were Barbarian Sound something. Anyway, I'm sorry I don't remember.
Barbarian Sound Studio.
Sound Studio, yes. And then the other one that I really, really wanted to see was Duke of Burgundy. And I have both of those, on my little digital lists of stuff to watch. And they were like very stylish looking and like kind of retro, which is like totally my vibe, obviously. And I was always like, oh, I really want to watch all these movies. And then In Fabric came out and I was like, oh my God, it's also stylish and retro. So I was always like, oh, I'll watch it. But I always wanted to be like, no, I want to have one of those nights where like, have a few glasses of wine and like smoke a joint and just like can appreciate it. And I just never would have one of those nights where I felt like I can just devote a night to like having experience with any of his movies. So I just never watched them. And so then when this came around, I was like, well, half of these A24 movies are not horror and half of them I do not care for. So here we are. And also Jill took my other pick. So yeah, I have never seen it before. This was my first time. What about you, Ro?
I will say I love it. I always love when one of us picks something that we have never seen and then it seems that no one's seen it. As for me, I've never seen it. This wasn't even on my radar. I didn't know anything about it. Once I looked at Peter Strickland and who he was, I know me and X watched at least half of Flux Gourmet, which is his newest one. It has Aja Butterfield in it. It's on Shudder. I know that. That's where we watched it. And I remember thinking it's very bizarre. And I don't think we even made it halfway through. We just were in the mindset. It's like an entire movie about flatulence. And like,
relatable.
And yeah, just
I made that movie last night.
Weird, visceral sounds. And I just remember, I think I was like, you have to obviously be ready for this. And I wasn't. But other than that, I'm not familiar with Peter Strickland. Obviously, I am now. But yeah, Jill. Is this your first time seeing it?
It is my first time seeing it. Also, wasn't aware that this existed. Out of all the A24 movies I've seen, I've just never saw this one around. So watched a lot of the other ones, not this one. But I am glad that Mike is actually drinking a glass of wine right now while we record. So I think that's cool.
You're welcome. Vibes. Listen, I literally went last night. I went out of my way to like run to the liquor store before it closed so I could have some wine to drink because I thought, here we go. We're going to have the experience that I always wanted to have.
Yeah. Good.
Well, I mean, let's get into it. And, if you guys stick around and we all have the same pudding, I've got a coupon. So we can eat that afterwards. So
love that for us.
Let's talk about In Fabric.
Wait, it's not what is it? A love coupon? No, it was
you share pudding.
God. Yeah, no, but what did they call the coupon? They called
Vouchers.
it like a
Voucher.
love voucher or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So much to say about In Fabric.
I mean, that was one of my points, is that there's nothing more romantic than starting a date with a coupon for the meal as long as they share the same pudding. And then also the limp rose that guy pulled out of nowhere. And I really felt bad for Sheila, like, the entire time she was on the screen, because her life just fucking sucks. No one appreciates her. It made me sad because I feel like she's a really nice lady.
100%. But I also, so speaking of the coupons and the limp roses and the going to the same restaurant, there was something about it that I kind of respected, because she went, like, every time she did that, she was like, oh, I've never, you know what I mean? Like, you would never tell that this is probably, it's the second time we've seen it, but it's probably the 10th time
right
that she's gone through this. And, like, she just fucking goes through it like a fucking trooper.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd never know that this is her 18th sticky pudding or whatever the fuck it was they were eating. What
Greek
kind of pudding was it?
Right?
Someone look it up, please. But, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had to resort to that I mean, it's been a long time since I've dated. But
you've never dated anyone except your wife.
A long time. Literally your teenage years.
I don't know. I feel like my wife would be pretty excited for some coupons. Listen, they're just they're saving money.
Exilia,
maybe.
do you hear this?
And a
Make
limp
some
rose.
coupons, if nothing else.
I felt kind of bad for Adonis, because I was...
No, fuck him.
Well, I was like, I don't know. He was kind of giving me, like, autism vibes. I was like...
Oh.
He's, like, hyper-focused. Like, he like, no eye contact with anyone. He just kind of was, like, reading the menu. Even anyone, the waiter, her, talking to him, he didn't want to look. So I was like, oh, like, obviously this guy's just, like... really awkward. Now, I mean, obviously, Stash, I don't know, Stash was the man, obviously. He got her home, so...
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I thought even though
sealed that fucking
even
deal.
though he was cheap, he was charming with it, so... you know, if you're gonna use a coupon, at least have a couple jokes.
And to be fair, I know you felt sorry for him, but to be fair... She didn't do anything. She wasn't, like, very visibly like, get me the fuck out of here, I'm done. And, like, I need to go to the washroom and then just leave. She could have. She should have. But she didn't. So give her a little bit of credit, please.
I mean, I almost don't want to give her credit because I feel bad because she should have just got out. She should have just been like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, now you're like, oh yeah, she stayed on this date, so
she's a
fuck
decent
her.
woman, so...
She's friendly, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, to me, like, the main thing I think about with this is, like, obviously, you know, Peter Strickland just, you know, wearing his influences on his sleeve. This is obviously a dedication to the love of Giallo. So you're kind of already starting to win me over in that. I mean, how many times have we said it? Especially me and Mike, like, this is, Giallo is our jam.
I wish Colton were here.
Literally inject it into my fucking veins.
Yeah, like, as they say, Giallo is our jam.
It's our jam. Spelled G-I-A-M, by the way, just in case you didn't hear it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I mean, and then not just Giallo. I mean, this is like I'm watching Argento, right? From the source, essentially. Just from the weirdness, like the music, you know, the cinematography, the camera.
There's always a weird salesperson. There's always a scene in a store. And there's always a freaky salesperson, and they fucking nailed that in this, let me tell you.
Just weird women.
Yeah, weird women.
Weird women. Well, and I thought it was interesting because I feel like there's not a lot of department store horror in general.
There needs to be, by the way. Like, let's fix that, please, somebody.
All I can really think about
screenwriter.
was this and the newest Black Mirror, like the last episode of that, Demon 73 or whatever, is also set in a British shoe store, department store.
Well, I also think about, I don't remember what the name of it that we watched it under was, but like Operation Santa Claus or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the one we did like, over Christmas? Yeah, I mean, that's sort of vaguely... Yeah. There is a lot of department store goings on in politics in it.
Yeah. Also Doctor Who, like the very first episode of the reboot.
Oh my god, I fucking
the
love
mannequins.
Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, my queen. Billy Piper.
Jeez. I love her.
Come home, Billy. Please release a new album. I need a new Billy Piper album.
The whole intro to this movie, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was in. I was so in that it was ridiculous. There's never been a bigger buy-in for me of a movie. I have no idea what it's about. All I know is I've been hearing Colton complain about it since it was even mentioned as an option.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way this isn't a banger. I was like, the music, the entire soundtrack
editing
of this.
Oh, it's literally the whole soundtrack is going on the podcast.
The music's done by
playlist,
Cavern of Antimatter. And just
love the name.
Yeah, fantastic name. And just like perfect kind of rendition of like a Goblin Argento soundtrack. Like, I don't know what else Peter Strickland could have done to cause me to like his movie anymore.
Like that whole like 70s grainy footage, scratchy, aged film, frenetic bit of editing, showing you all the fucking creepy bits. It also had like weird Rob Zombie vibes to it, which I fucking loved. Like that opening was just
like, now that you say it, I could definitely see like some, Rob Zombie vibes. Like kind of getting, it's interesting because kind of getting like the horrific or like the terror parts like in the edit, but you don't know what they are because it's just some
because
intro
they're wrenched
music
out of context. Yeah.
So then like the payoff's almost just as, even better when you get, we see some old guy like looks like he's screaming, but little do I know, I'm going to see a scene where he's just jacking off.
Maybe he is screaming.
Well, I mean, he could be doing
but he's
that
screaming.
too.
It's the good kind of scream.
And like, especially to me, like a subject that like really shouldn't work unless it's a direct-to-Tubi movie, like a haunted dress. Like this is screaming like I'm a $100 straight to video budget movie.
This could be Creepshow.
Yeah,
it's actually funny that you mention that. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I'm glad you brought that up because there is actually a like lineage of this movie, and I have not looked into it. I don't know if the director was specifically referencing this particular movie, but a lot of people don't realize that there was a 90s, it might have even only been 1990 TV movie that Tobe Hooper directed. And it was based on a Cornell Woolrich short story who wrote Rear Window and like a lot of other really famous thrillers. The Bride Wore Black, like literally stuff that has been filmed by Hitchcock and like Truffaut and literally, like the greatest directors of all time. And Tobe Hooper directed a story that he wrote, and it's about a red dress that instead of somebody dying in it or whatever the fuck the story is supposed to be in this one, it was a dress that's made out of like, I think it's like a burial shroud, like maybe an Aztec burial shroud or something, and they fashion it into a dress, and like essentially everybody that wears it gets possessed and like goes homicidal, and it's really bad but really, really good. So honestly, like I feel like nobody talks about that movie in relation to this, and it's a red dress too, and so it's and like Dee Wallace is in it. And Anthony Perkins and Machen Amick from Twin Peaks and recently Riverdale. Yeah, it's really, really good. So if anybody liked this, they should check that out too. And yeah, Kino Lorber actually put out a Blu-ray of it. I was very excited. I pre-ordered it. And I got Steven from Every Horror Movie on Netflix to buy it too, because he loves Tobe Hooper.
Nice. For the clothes, I really liked all the names they had for the clothes. Like at one point you hear the girl saying, I got the asphodel top and the funeral stockings. And then the dress, if you look at the color on the catalog, it says artery red. Yeah,
yes,
I love those
that's my
details.
Last note. Yeah,
oh
I was
my
like,
God,
that's
I'm sorry.
Fucking perfect. No, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Also, I wrote down peak Mike moment. The ladies in the shop fighting over who's paying first, like who's in line, spitting on each other, slapping each other, breaking shit, and looting the place, and then it's on fire.
I literally have a whole line in my notes that's just in all caps with 18 exclamation points. This fucking cat fight. Like
amazing.
Yeah, it was like a moment that I truly did not expect. It absolutely came out of fucking nowhere. And it went from this like weird, absurdist, slow burn to like pure chaos, but like not from where you would expect. It's like, oh, it's just all the women in the shop.
Yeah.
all the women like banging outside the door for the sale, right? Like,
So, Mike, you work in retail, and I know it like sucks the soul out of you. How did you feel about this movie and its depictions of like the shit that goes on in retail?
Okay, so first of all, I was absolutely gagged by her poetic descriptions of everything. Like, literally, like, it's going to cost this amount of money. And she, like, goes on this Shakespearean through Russian nonsense chat GPT translated.
I love her.
Like, I'm obsessed with that saleswoman. Like, she is my everything. I want to get a print of her and put it on the wall.
Yeah.
Like, she's amazing. I found her descriptions of like every item and everything. Like when she's telling Mrs. to get out of the store, I'm like, God damn, I wish someone would talk to me like this. Like,
yes. That's one of my notes is I would like nothing more than go to this department store, have this lady talk to me in her pretty little cryptic messages. Fucking love it.
I would literally go in there and like do something fucked up just to have her tell me to get out. Because I'm like, please, like, let me, like, lash me again. I want more.
Mommy.
Mommy.
Just kidding. Mommy.
Instead of muscle mommy. Okay, can we talk about how she's kind of like a bird, too? I keep thinking of her as a raven or a crow.
Okay.
Because
like
of the dress. Yeah. And the way she moves is, like, kind of very, like,
I can kind of see that. And then, like, they kind
of,
you know, even, we haven't said it yet, but obviously, like, the department store is also this, you know, kind of like covenant or cult thing going on. She's bald, you know, speaking of Roald Dahl from earlier. You know, it was giving me heavy The Witches vibes, some Angelica Houston.
Yeah, it is very much,
But I was going to say, like, without the wig, what was also used in, like, Roald Dahl's Witch's original film in this is, like, she did have that bird-like appearance when she's bald. So it was almost like a witchy look. But I was going to say, I thought it was just really interesting because it kind of, it harkened me back, just her whole memorization of every piece of clothing and detail. And I kind of thought about, and not that this is even that long ago, but like the first job first real job I ever had, not like a paper route or something, was I worked at Zeller's. And I worked at Zeller's like my whole high school years. And it made me think about, and like I said, I mean, that was only like early 2000s. So like I'm thinking like back to imagining the 70s. But like even then, I think about like old ladies that work there because it was literally like me and 80 old ladies that worked at Zeller's.
I bet you they all loved you, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
There's no way all those older ladies did not love Rowan.
They were all like grandmothers, and I was like the grandma whisperer, so...
I believe it.
Yeah.
At Subway, you were the soccer mom whisperer.
Yeah, that's right. But, like, I just remember, like, they would know everything about anything because, like, it just seems like back then it was such a, you know, like, that was their life. That was, like, their identity. So it was like, I'm going to know every stitching in this clothing, where it came from, everything about it. And I just thought about, like, you don't see that anymore because, like, a department store now, if you work at a Walmart, like, you know, people, those are just, like, places you work when you're, like, looking for something or whatever. Whereas, like, back then, like, that was looked at as, like, this is like my career. Like, this is what I do.
Yeah, and
not
if
that
you were going to work somewhere,
now,
you were expected to know. It's just so funny that you say that because a couple of years ago, I was reading this biography of Patti Smith, like Queen.
Yeah.
And it starts off with when she moves to New York. And she goes to work at one of the large bookstores in New York. And they, every week, you know, the like New York Times bestsellers or whatever will come out, or, you know, New York review of books, and they'd have the like 10 reviews or whatever. And she writes that, you know, they were expected. You read all these books. Soon as that list comes out or whatever, you read those books. So, and it's not like you got paid to sit around and read. You were expected to, on your own time, know the like top 20 New York Times bestsellers and read them and be able to talk about them. And again, that was, you know, in the like early 70s. So it's that same vibe of, even though it's retail, you have to be an expert in that field, right?
Yeah. It was like more dignity in a job like that. And I think they really cared about customer service and providing like the best experience for, shopping. Or I saw an old Dunkin' Donuts commercial or a video of someone like getting coffee at a Dunkin' Donuts like way back in the day, like years and years ago. And, they did everything for you. Like it was just a really nice environment. And, you don't get that anymore because people are underpaid. People are treated like shit.
Yeah, and they just want to like get more people in there and move you in and out as quick as possible and take your money.
So different.
I wanted to say just with Marianne Jean-Baptiste, who plays Sheila, like I thought she was fantastic. Like,
oh my God, she's amazing.
Like, super, just like perfect for the role of like this like newly divorced or separated mother with her shithead kid, who I thought was really funny. And obviously I was gonna say, I feel like out of most of the cast, Gwendolyn Christie, who plays Gwen, would probably be would she be probably the most recognizable person in this?
Oh, 100%.
I did not even recognize
the way
her.
that Jill, like, I knew exactly when Jill finished the movie because all of a sudden she's like, I didn't realize that was Gwendolyn Christie. I was like, I knew as soon as I got that text, I was like, Jill just got to the credits and was like, wait, who was Gwendolyn Christie? And literally looked it up and was like, oh my God, I knew it. I fucking knew it.
I'm so dumb.
It took me a minute to realize though, because I knew she was in it. And then her first scene where she's like modeling on the counter, it's sort of like turned to the side or whatever, so she's not moving or saying anything. But then the first scene when, she's like actually talking and stuff, I'm like, oh my fucking God, that is Gwendolyn Christie.
I should have known.
Bad fright wig. I love it.
It's the wig.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was the wig that did it. It was the wig.
It's a far cry from what she looks like in Game of Thrones. So.
Oh my God, when she's like the big old fucking muscle mommy.
She's hot either way.
She is so hot. She's so fucking hot. But she literally, like, even when you didn't know, but I know this and I know exactly where your thought process was when you were watching it. You were looking at her going, God damn, this bitch is good, weren't you? Like, you're like, I really love her. Yeah.
I loved her and I hated her because she was so fucking mean to Sheila.
She was so good. She was good at being like that passive aggressive piece of shit.
So scary.
She couldn't even let her win at that like weird checkers thing or whatever. Like,
I think that was Sorry.
That was not Sorry, was it?
It was.
Oh my God.
It's like archaic.
I was looking at it going, what the fuck is this?
It is. Because they even say sorry and she like taps them and they have to go back.
Oh, yeah.
I spent minutes
you're right.
trying to figure out what that was. And I used to have Pokemon Sorry, so I know Sorry when I see it.
Yeah, no, you're right. But it was like kind of like an old like wood vintage edition. Yeah,
it was fucking ancient.
I love the whole, Gwen and Sheila dichotomy of this woman, not just a woman, but like they kind of point out like quite obviously older woman compared to her son, like stepping in and kind of, taking over. He doesn't need mom anymore.
He doesn't need mom. He's got mommy now.
Yeah.
Mommy Gwendolyn.
And I need to make a correction because I talked about Sheila going on the date and I said Stash. I didn't say Zach. His name was Zach.
We knew who you meant though.
Because Stash is a whole other mental note I made, because obviously as a guy who loves comedy and loves YouTube, Julian Barrett is the actor who is famously like one of the leads of The Mighty Boosh, who is super viral if anyone remembers the YouTube sensation of Old Greg.
I feel like you're speaking another language.
Do you know Old Greg?
You don't know Old Greg?
What is that?
Are you kidding me?
I'm
you
literally
ever drink
not
Baileys
kidding.
from a shoe?
Oh my God.
I only drink Baileys from coffee.
Oh my God.
I do watercolors.
Afterwards, we'll send you the video. Anyway, Mike, it was like, I remember like after high school, it was like super viral on YouTube. Like everyone would share it. There was memes about it.
Was it on E-Baum's World?
It probably was.
No,
They probably posted
it was like
a video.
YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was it was post E-Bombs World.
Post E-Bombs World.
Because I was in high school when this came out.
Yeah, basically they're a comedy troupe, and it was like it was a comedy show called The Mighty Boosh that they did skits, but it also had like an overarching story, and he was one of the leads from that. And I love that show, so I was super pumped to see him in it.
Oh, doesn't it have also Noel Fielding, who's in like Great British Bake Off?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had to correct that and shout that out because, it's not every day I go to watch a horror movie and then I see one of the guys from the Mighty Boosh in it, which haven't been relevant since like 2008 or something.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, big shout outs to that. But yeah, let's talk a little more about killer dresses. I was just gonna say, I just love how the dress moved. I love it just kind of, creeping along on the floor, but also like floating over people's bed like this ghost or specter.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, okay, and it's okay, stay with me here. I'm about to say something, and I know that you and X especially would appreciate it. There was something about that dress hovering over the beds, which happened at least 5 times during the movie, at least, and maybe like 8 or 9, that made me think of a Mary Pratt painting.
Oh my god.
I don't know why. Maybe it's the vibrant colors.
Maybe.
And it's like I could picture Mary Pratt fucking painting this goddamn dress hanging over somebody's bed about to smother their fucking faces off.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the dress itself looked like fantastic.
That color and the way that color appeared everywhere in the background and like her lipstick and in everything in that fucking department store. Like, I even said, I was like, I need to know what they're calling this color because it's stunning, and it was very giallo red.
Well, then now you know.
It was very much your
red.
eyeball exploded in a Dario Argento movie color.
Yeah.
Very nice fresh blood hitting becoming oxygenated.
Well, and just like even the ghost story about it of, the model like getting in the accident, and she had modeled the dress and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking about like when Sheila's telling her dream in the bank meeting manager's office, and like, we get like her skin peeling. She's talking about her mother like being in the accident and stuff. And like just everything was so like just off and bizarre enough that I was like, I love that it's on one end, this like dedication to what can, giallo can be pretty weird. And then it also made me think, I've been watching a lot of like YouTube videos and listening to music about weirdcore, which is like a whole style. Listen, guys, I'm just deep on the internet like that. It's like a style of memes and feeling, and it's basically like just like weird, just weird stuff. I look it up. It's hard to explain, but like it just, with me looking at stuff like that, I was like, this is kind of what it feels like. It's basically like a nostalgia feeling, but not being able to put your finger on it, and something just being off a little bit about it. Very like
that actually sounds interesting. Yeah,
very dreamlike. Very, very dream. I'm not gonna get into sounding like a fucking dirtbag, and very
surreal.
Very dream.
That ship has sailed.
Very dreamcore, but it's not dreamcore. It's weirdcore. Just look it up. But yeah, I love how they played with that, and just everything was a little off. Like,
oh, 100%.
Every scene, there's just something off that you're like almost uneasy about, that like it's almost like this surreal sketch comedy going on in your horror movie.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's very unreal. Like, it's surreal, but it's also unreal because it feels like you're really, like, you took some really strong cold medicine and then fell asleep. And it feels like this is what you would dream of.
Yes.
Like, your baby giving you the finger after being born.
Oh my God.
So good. I just wanted to talk about a really big ASMR moment in the movie for me. I was vibing real hard during, I think it was near the end. It was when Miss Luckmore, so the creepy department store lady, she's like touching the catalog, like running her hands over it with her nails, and they're so glossy and you can hear it really well. And she's like turning the pages and whispering and then like cutting the pages, and it's just like scratching my
when
brain.
It's like the like weird, she's like describing her dream or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like cutting all the little, oh my God, I know. And the scissors like slicing through the paper. The sound design in this movie, and that's what I've heard about all of his other movies, is like absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah. Crispy.
Like it's literally like it's meant to be ASMR. Like you never hear everything, as crispy and crunchy, like very like fresh and close, and it feels like it's in your face, in your ears, in your ear balls.
So good.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Well, I thought it'd be interesting or maybe important to talk about where I think the movie loses some people. I know it definitely, I read Colton's thing too. What Colton had written about this when he saw it. I saw it lost him, and then I was interested to see other people's feelings, and it kind of felt he had similar feelings to anyone that's kind of, against this movie, is the fact that, that basically our first story kind of concludes, and then we have like almost a whole other story, which we do. It's a whole different story, although connected, because at first, I did get the feeling, I'm like, oh, maybe Colton's right. Like, what's going on? Are we just starting this haunted dress again? Which, I wouldn't really care. But then when I was like, oh, well, wait a second. Sheila was talking about her washer being broke. The bank managers were like, oh, wait a second. We know a guy that's really good, and this guy is that guy. So I was like, there is this connection here.
It's like Pulp Fiction, kind of.
Yeah, it very much is. 100%.
Yeah, so I was wondering how you guys felt at that switch, because obviously it does almost, like it really does almost end. Like you could have bookended this into only like an hour long with that. And like, was that jarring to you? Did you feel the second half was unnecessary, or?
So that was my complaint about the movie, is that I really love Sheila, and then her story was like the carrier of the plot for me.
Yeah.
So when she died, I was just kind of like, what? Like, what do I do now?
My Sheila. Where is she?
I was just like kind of confused, and then I like understand it now in hindsight, thinking about it the next day. But when I was watching it, I was super confused as to what the fuck was happening at that point. And I didn't love the other characters as much as I love Sheila.
You didn't love Babs?
She was cool.
Oh my God, Babs was amazing.
I don't like her shitty husband, but or fiance, whatever. One of my favorite quotes from her, well, two. One
was it while she was getting fucked and then talking about the guest list?
No, but that was a great moment.
Yeah, I was like, man, this woman, she's just like so fucking focused.
She's so good. You lot could all do with a good shag, number one.
Oh my God. And then they all start laughing at her. I was like, man, she thought she gagged them. And then they're like, no.
Yeah.
We're not gagged.
Also, it's a chamber of methane and booze in here. And he just said,
God.
It's just a dirty kebab.
Yeah.
It's just a dirty kebab. But what about you guys? Did you think that, did that ruin the movie for you at all? Or did you come to accept it and embrace it?
No, I like, as soon as it happened, I was like, oh, I know. Like, I literally, to me, it's like a literary and cinematic trope anyway. And I sort of just, after a couple minutes, I was like, okay, I'm back on the, like, I kind of got derailed a bit, but I'm back on it now, and I understand what they're doing, and I know I'm probably not going to see Sheila again, and that's what happens.
R.I.P.
I mean, I was upset because I loved Sheila, and I was actually very invested in all those characters, and fucking Gwen, like, I was like, Gwen is iconic.
Yeah.
The son, I was like, he's kind of a piece of shit, but I also want to see him do more.
Oh my God, when the son's just jerking it to his
own
picture.
To his own picture.
I was like, man.
But there was something so, like, formal about it, because it wasn't like he just was, like, lying in bed, like, and holding on to, like, his sketchbook. Like, he literally had this whole, like, fucking setup where it's like, you know, this ain't the first time he's done it. He has, like, the fucking mic arm, like, the boom arm that, like, holds the fucking sketchbook in front of him, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's the, like, vagina I drew. You know, and just, like, going at himself. I'm like, oh, he does this at least twice a week, I could tell.
No one's been happier about Sheila's death more than Gwen, though, I'm sure. She's definitely moved in, and she's wearing all of Sheila's clothes now. She's really taken over the mommy role.
Oh, yeah. She's again, okay, so she went from mommy to mother. No, not mother, because she is mother, but not to him. She went from mommy to mom, and she's mother to us.
Yeah, exactly.
She's Mother Gwendolyn, yeah.
It did jar me for a second, but pretty much the minute, I shouldn't say the minute, but as it went on, I really liked it, because, like I said, just how bizarre the film is anyway, and how, like we said, absurd and kind of absurdly unsettling it is. I was like, this is even more so, because I found, like, we kick up the awkward absurdity in that second story.
Oh, 100%. Well, because it starts off with him putting on the dress, which is not...
Which I did. I love that twist where, you know, obviously, like, we're like, okay, there's a second story. He's getting married. He's got this dress. So this is going to be...
And you think he's given the wife the dress, right?
Yeah. Like, you're like, okay, this is going to be... So his fiance is going to get this dress. And then when it immediately, like, it's him that puts on the dress, I'm like, okay, like, I actually like that it subverted my expectations here. And not only does it haunt and kill one person, but it haunts and kills two people, you know, engaged couple at the exact same time.
Yeah. Yeah. They're both going through it.
Yeah. And also just, I mean, the awkwardness and how much I laughed and felt weird when, like, everyone's just having internal orgasms when he talks about washing machines.
It was giving me, if you guys ever watched Futurama, the, like, fucking Hypnotoads where they, like, put him on TV and it's just like...
Yeah.
I was, like, getting Hypnotoad from... what's his face?
Yeah, I loved everything about that. And I just... Like I said, I thought the second half worked just as well as the first half.
It did. It was very different and, again, very jarring. But it's so funny that you brought up the fake out, right? Of you can't tell, you think the dress is going to go to her first and it doesn't. But that second half, I found it was actually kind of brilliant, because the first half really sets you up for, like, the second half kind of always sort of pulling the rug out from under you.
Yeah.
Like, it does that. And there's, like, at least 3 drawn out, like, 2-3 minute long moments in the second half when you think you're about to get, like, it's, like, literally giving you that, like, Alfred Hitchcock, like, suspense moment where you're watching him, like, do something. Like, one of them is when he's, like, cutting the fucking gore and he's, like, really going at it and she's talking to him and you think he's gonna, like, cut his finger off or something, and it just doesn't happen. And it cuts away from it. There's, like, 3 or 4 moments like that in the second half where, like, they're focusing on something and you really think this is how this person is about to get mangled or, like, cut themselves open or bleed or have an accident or do whatever. And then it literally just shifts away to something else. And it's actually, like, kind of humorous and funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really cool because the first half, like, sets you up to go, oh, this is what happened to Sheila, or this is what's, you know, would happen normally in a horror movie like this. And it just doesn't happen. And they know they're doing it. They're kind of like winking. Like, it's actually, there's a lot of, like, subtle humor in this movie. And I just really enjoyed that.
I think I was like too dumb for that the first watch. Because I was so confused, but later today thinking about it, I get it. But when I was watching it, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Well, and I thought everything kind of paid off with that. Like, I'll say right now, like, I thought that ending was just like chef's kiss. Like, the fact that not only are all these people, like, haunted and then killed by this dress, but then basically forever, you know, doomed to eternity in, like, these small
purgatory
enclosed spaces of, like, making this dress that they say there is only one of.
And it's size 36.
Yeah, and then obviously that's not the case. So, like, yeah, I thought everything, like, really tied together. Now, I'm very surprised that we've made it this far And we haven't had any conversations about bleeding mannequins or, quick shots of
mannequins with,
bush.
Gooches and bushes and
old men in quick shots of spunk just shooting off.
You did mention it earlier. You alluded to it. You alluded to the jerking off, so.
There was also when the lady put the paper, she folded it up really nicely, and then she bent down, and I thought she was going to put it in her stocking, and she puts it in her kitty.
And then she, lets out a little, whoop.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm like, okay, she's into it.
I was going to say, it wasn't a whoop. It was like an extended moan, real slow.
I was trying to not be gross about it, okay?
And, I thought all these touches, not only are they obviously bizarre and weird, but to me, like I said, it just kind of went with the giallo form of these, over-sexualized, violent, scary stories that...
But, speaking of, the mannequin that turns out to have, genitalia and, pubic hair and stuff, and it's and you're, going, oh my god, what the fuck is going on here? But, can we talk about the fact that, I think it was the other saleswoman, when she was, doing that and, touching the mannequin and stuff and, setting it up or, quote-unquote, that she was clearly sitting on the mannequin's face. It was very... insanely sexual. I'm this is not what I like. I was a little bit gagged, right? I was just I did not expect this, and here we go, and it came out of nowhere and kind of smacked me in the face or sat on it or whatever.
So I'm curious, what did you guys think of the old guy that obviously, he's, did you look at him as kind of a lead, or is he kind of a Igor type character?
Yeah.
I was kind of confused about this because sometimes I felt it kind of seemed like he was the mastermind and controlling things because he'd whisper things and that to
I
to
think
the
it was more
women.
They were but he was playing manager, right?
Yeah.
Of the store. So I feel to me, it looked and I could be wrong, but I mean, I'm not looking for any logic in any of this because it's it's a surreal fever dream experience. But I sort of got the vibe of, if you're looking at the cult or coven or whatever, he did have more of that role. It seemed more of an Igor. I also got very Udo Kier vibes from him.
Yeah.
But that clearly the women were the ones actually in control, but they were kind of playing this 70s sexist, the man has to be in charge of the retail, because that's how you get taken seriously, and it has to look, legit or whatever. I thought it was sort of like a little play acting, and they were kind of laughing at it. And
I hope I get all the best goosebumps when you name drop Udo Kier. Just
I was I can't wait to bring up Udo Kier tomorrow. I wrote it down. I was make sure you reference that somewhere for Ro.
Love it, just love it.
Love Udo Kier. Love him.
When are we gonna do Blade? God damn it!
Oh my god, girl. I was actually thinking about we need to do Blood for Dracula. There's all sorts of stuff we got to do. His filmography is just insane. It's monumental, catastrophic even. And he's the fucking hottest person alive. Also, he was in Madonna's Deeper and Deeper video, which is literally the first place I ever saw him. So I was ooh, weird. Everyone's what's your first Udo Kier movie? I'm a Madonna music video from 1992. He plays her daddy. Everybody's losing it.
Did you guys have any other notes on this one, or were we good to go in the rating it?
I mean, I could honestly probably talk forever, but I'm comfortable. I feel we've hit a lot of good notes on it.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, fortunately, we've kept it pretty positive. Thank God Colton wasn't around to just bring us down.
Steamy dump on
I'm
it.
sure we'll get an earful after this episode.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get fucking called out.
So, well, with that, we'll land the plane. If you're new to the podcast, our rating system is nay, okay, yay, or slay. Mike, this was your pick. What would you give 2018's In Fabric?
Okay, so I was thinking about it, and I mean, listen, I, was all over the place when I was watching it, and I had certain expectations, and, then I had like one thought when I finished it. I only watched it yesterday because I've been a very busy week. And then, when I slept on it and I was at work all day today, I kept kind of like thinking about it and thinking about different aspects of it and stuff. And honestly, I'm going to give it a yay. I think it was a really fun movie. Fun is maybe not the word to use, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very different. The like feeling that I got from it when I was reading about it back in 2018 and like seeing, clips and trailers and still shots and stuff was, oh, this looks like a real like vibe, and it's like an aesthetic, and that's like homage again to like that 70s horror, like Italian, overly stylized, maybe nonsensical and dreamlike, and that is the vibe that I got, which is why I wanted to watch it, and that's literally what I got. It hit those notes for me, and I really have no complaints. Like, I understand. I watched it and said, I totally understand. I was like Jill kept saying, this is such a Mike coded movie, and it really is. I was like, this hits like scratches a lot of my personal itches. But when I was finished watching it, I said, I would totally understand if everybody else did not like this at all, because it's very niche. But I was like, I don't know. It was very much a like very pleasing aesthetic experience to me. And I just thought it was a very, like, I'm probably going to watch it again at some point. Maybe not anytime soon, but, if somebody says, like, oh, I wanted to see that and I haven't seen it, I'd 100% be like, we're watching it now. So, yeah, I'm totally just going to give it a yay because, I don't know, it was a vibe. I loved it. It was a great vibe. Jill, what do you think?
Yeah, so when I was watching this last night, I was ready to give it a nay, actually. Because, like I said, after Sheila died, it just kind of went downhill for me. But I sat on it. I let it like marinate a little bit. I thought about it, and I kind of want to rewatch it like pretty soon. And just like chill the fuck out. Now I know what I'm getting myself into. I just want to sit back and take in all the luxurious like aesthetic and the sounds and the sights and all of that. So for now, I'm going to give it an okay, because when watching it, I felt like it was kind of half-baked, half-cooked, like there, and I kind of would have liked to see this in a short film also. Gotcha, just like trim it down to its like bones. I think would be a really cool short film. But yeah, I love what they did with it. It was unexpected. It looked nice. Love the story. Love the creepy sales department lady, whatever. So yeah, it's an okay for me. How about you, Rowan?
So yeah, I like I said, I had never heard of this movie. I had no idea what to expect coming in. All I knew is I had seen Colton describe it as overly pretentious, which
yeah,
I feel is always usually my response to Colton picks.
Yeah, so, I was like, that's a rich review right there.
The tables have turned.
Yeah.
I got a little worried. So let me set a scene for the listeners. So imagine
Sicily, 2024.
Imagine you're on TV, you're watching Oprah, and I'm on it, and I'm a world famous action star, and then I just jump on the couch and I say, in fabric, I'm in love. Cause yeah, I'm giving it a slay.
Oh my god,
absolutely
bro,
love
gagged.
this movie.
I'm gagged.
This is not Mike coded. This is Rowan coded.
Whoa!
This is everything I want in a film. It's bizarre, it's weird, it's sexy, it's gross, it's haunting.
I did not expect it to be as sexy as it was, by the way.
Yeah, and the music. I mean, you should have known automatically.
Oh, the soundtrack, I know.
The soundtrack is so good. Like, it's been a long time since we've done a movie with a soundtrack this good.
Yeah. Honestly, the vibe I got from it was like when we saw It Follows.
Yeah, that's how excited
I was.
And
that was like, 10 years ago, so yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, obviously all the visual comparisons and the feel to like Argento, I mean, like I said, you're winning me over with that. Argento's my guy, but also something that can sound like Goblin, but still be new and unique, but still have that like 70s Italian film feel. I'm slaying this. Like, I guess I'm pretentious because I didn't mind it at all. And to me, like I said, the oddity and weirdness of it all, especially when you got the guy from the Mighty Boosh in it, I'm like, you know what you're making. Like, that's almost just a wink to people. Like,
yeah,
I'm making something weird and bizarre.
And it was pretty campy, right? Like,
yeah, it's super campy.
Yeah, a lot of moments of campiness, yeah, which is probably why Colton hated it.
So, yeah, I mean, okay, a yay, and a slay. Oh my God, Colton's
I'm
gonna...
probably a nay from Colton, so we
Yeah.
we hit every single
We literally, it's the seldom achieved quadruple.
Yeah, I think it's
review.
never happened. So Colton prevented it from happening because it definitely, I feel, would have been an A. I don't know. Maybe Colton does like he respects well shot thing. So I don't know. Maybe like you give it a low okay just for.
But he did say it was wannabe Giallo, so you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he meant it in a derogatory manner instead of the complimentary manner that we would.
That's a
we
difference.
we would be like wannabe Giallo compliment plus.
Oh, thanks. Just bought
Go
it.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah, go back and listen to our Malignant episode. See what we do with that. So with that, I kind of, I told these guys before we started recording, I failed all you guys. I didn't post on any of the social media. What did you think about this? It's been a hectic week. I'm sure the reasons it was hectic I'll announce later on another episode. This isn't the episode for that. But yeah, so if you do have opinions about this and you want us to know them, just get a hold of us in all the ways we're going to tell you. So, and then let us know and we'll say it next episode or something. But we did have someone call in. Obviously, Nicholas called in from the Horrific Hotline. So let's get to the Horrific Hotline and see what Nicholas had to say about In Fabric.
Okay, I watched In Fabric just now. I've never even heard of the movie before. And I've mixed feelings. I really enjoyed the first half. I thought the main actress, her name sadly is just gone from my brain right now, but she was incredible, I thought. And it had more visual Giallo references than the entirety of Malignant and Last Night in Soho put together, which I really enjoyed. It was confusing, didn't really make too much sense, but I appreciate that it is a movie that takes a evil dress serious. So it sounds like a bullshit idea for an asylum movie production, but it does take it
a Tubi
serious,
movie.
even though I have to admit I didn't find the dress too scary. Sadly, all this build-up is, down in the shitter after the first half of the movie when we switch characters, and the second half was just a drag for me to get through. So I couldn't really focus anymore. It wasn't as interesting. And maybe it's because I didn't like the second half as much that I just didn't pay attention to further Giallo references, but it seemed less interesting. There's one funny scene towards the end when all hell breaks loose in the shopping mall and someone punches a mannequin. For some reason I thought that was funny, but other than that, second half didn't do it for me. Therefore, I'm an okay for the movie, and I think everyone can just watch the first half, and after an hour and 10 minutes, whenever it's done, just stop watching the movie because you don't really get any answers at the end anyways. And now here you guys can have a cut if you want to keep the episode short, but I do want to get into Troll 2 for a second because Colton asked, for more than a second, because it is a small story as to why I can, and don't ever want to watch Troll 2 again, because it is easily one of the worst movies ever made, maybe also one of the funniest movies ever made, but in Germany we have this TV show called Die schlechtesten Filme aller Zeiten, which translates to the worst movies of all time. It's a show where two German comedians choose a movie, one of the worst movies ever, something like Troll 2 or maybe a Sharknado movie, and they watch it together with the audience, stop the movie every 20 to 30 minutes, make fun of the movie, and there's always a drinking game involved. So I can't remember what it was with Troll 2, but I remember for Sharknado you have to take a shot every time there is a shark flying through the air, which, well, basically you're hammered after the Sharknado first appears. And they always have like a special cocktail for each movie, which they invent themselves. And I watched Troll 2 in this version with the commentary by those two comedians with a couple of friends. And that is an experience that mirrors the movie as being one of the best and one of the worst experiences I've ever had. And I am holding this experience in such a high regard that I don't dare to ever watch the movie again if I can't even remember everything that happened in the movie and on that evening. Yeah, that's my funny little anecdote as to Troll 2. And as a final thought, as for snacks, I have to say I'm really boring. My movie snacks are M&Ms. I love them and I eat them regularly when I'm watching movies. There's nothing special about that. But maybe a question to you guys. Are you movie snack people or not? And if so, what are your movie snacks? Well, it's now over 4 minutes, so sorry for the very long voice message this time. Again, you can cut all the other parts out if you don't need it in the episode. Have a good one, and I'm looking forward to Bodies, 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 or rewatching Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Yay!
Nicholas, obviously we're going to keep that in, just, so Colton knows he'll never watch Troll 2 again.
Aw, he'll be devastated.
That kind of sounds like, like riff tracks, or like, what is it, Mystery Space Science Theater 3000. Like,
yes,
like making jokes over bad movies. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll have to look that up. Exilia likes German things. So, I wonder if you can get like a thing of that.
This question, though. Nick, you got to get popcorn and put M&Ms in your popcorn. That's like my go-to.
That's a good one, yeah.
Theater snack. But yesterday when I went to go
But it has to have butter in it, too, because the M&Ms have to be
have
oily
extra,
and butter.
Yeah, and they'll melt, and it's so fucking good. But yesterday when we went to go see Tarot, I got these new True Fruit, but they're dehydrated, strawberries covered in, white chocolate and then dark chocolate.
Yum.
It was so good. So that's going to be my new movie snack. What about you guys?
For me, it depends on if I'm at a theater or at home. When I'm at a theater, I obviously always get popcorn and iced tea, always. It's never anything else. And usually I'll do M&Ms, but sometimes I switch it up and do Swedish berries. And if I'm at home, I'll sometimes do popcorn, but I'll usually do roast chicken chips.
Fuck yes.
Roast chicken chips, always a big, giant, fucking honking bag of roast chicken chips.
You're such a skeet.
Oh, I'm such a skeet. Roast chicken chips, a bottle of cheap-ass wine.
Fuck yeah.
The cheapest, fucking biggest bottle. And this is what we do. My friend and I always have movie nights where we watch shitty, 90s TV movies. So we always get a giant, cheap bottle of red wine, roast chicken chips, and we'll get a couple of whatever, chocolate bars with fruit in it, fruit and nut bars, or
you're fucking killing me right now.
Something
I can't
like
get
that.
Any of this down
but
here.
The big, huge ones, we'll go to Dominion and just get a big old mess of Sobeys and get a huge, too huge, and then usually a bag of cookies, whatever is there. Yeah, fresh.
Jesus,
the cookies from the. Listen,
big
when
deal.
I take my movie snacks very seriously, okay? Ro, I know you got some shit on the go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, all the now slayings we do, I'm in the theater all the time, and I am a super skeet.
Super skeet, as Rick once sang.
My go-to usually is a theater glizzy.
Oh, my God.
I go theater hot dog with nachos and jalapeno cheese. And large pop. And, it's economical and delicious because...
That is not economical.
Not at all.
Well, I don't know what it's like in Germany or anywhere, but I know here a small popcorn is $8, $8 something.
No, you're right.
Where you get the hot dog, the nachos, and the pop, and after tax, it's only $15. So I can pay $8 for a popcorn, and then it's another $7, $8 for a large pop, or I can just get a hot dog and nachos and everything. So, but every once in a while, you know, I'll go for a popcorn. I'm a small bag of popcorn guy because I only eat like 2 handfuls and then I don't want it. I'm not like a big popcorn guy.
Oh, if you put a garbage bag full of popcorn in front of me, I'm literally eating until there's only kernels left in the bottom.
You can get that now here at AMC. Like, you can take it out like a giant fucking garbage bag full of popcorn. And they give you like
literally,
a little thing
Jill,
of butter.
send me some. I want AMC popcorn.
I might have to get it.
The theater here, you can pay like an exorbitant price and they'll put like your M&Ms in the popcorn and mix them. But it's like, I don't know why anyone would do it because I think you pay them like $7 to do it. So I guess if you're
and they're not even going to do it the way you want. Like, I feel like everybody has their own method of doing it. Like, you don't want anybody else like fucking up your popcorn candy, like your layering and your ratio. Like, that's just not something that you want somebody doing.
In this economy.
I know. And you're paying somebody to do it. And like, I mean, if you knew somebody, like if your friend worked at the theater or something and they did it right, I could totally see that. But like, why would you just like pay a stranger to do that for you and like fuck up your popcorn? Like, no, thank you.
So if you want to leave a voicemail like Nicholas and, you know, ask us a question about our favorite snacks or just, I don't know why we exist, something real existential.
Please don't.
You can send a voicemail anyway, really. Nicholas sends it through email. If you send it to us on Instagram or Facebook, we'll figure out a way to play it on the show. And if you are not doing so, you can follow us on any of our social media at It Slays Podcast. We are on Facebook, Instagram, X, Slasher, Letterboxd, Threads, Bluesky. If there is a social media, we're probably on it. Tumblr, I didn't even think about Tumblr.
Oh, Tumblr's
Love Tumblr. Goat.
Yeah,
Goat social
we're on
media.
Tumblr, so just, follow us at It Slays Podcast. And if you want to support the show, like our horror hounds, Holly, Nicholas, Patrick, Mark, Stephen, Joy, Carvey, Dan, Brian, Trevor, and Genesis, gain access to the Patreon exclusive show Stream Screams, hosted by Jill, and get episodes of this year's main show 48 hours early. Be sure to head on over to patreon.com/itslayspodcast and choose whatever tier works best for you. Obviously, I should have got someone to do that part because now I have to kick it on over to myself for Spotify.
That's fine.
So, Rowan, would you put any of the music from this movie on Spotify? I sure would, Rowan.
They're bangers.
It's bangers. It's nothing but bangers.
Yeah.
So, go to Spotify, the It Slays Podcast Horrific playlist. If you have any problems finding it, you can go to any of the social media I just mentioned. Go to the bio, click the Linktree link. It will take you directly there. We upload scores or licensed music from iconic horror movies we review, or just horror movies we love. So go follow it. We update it daily. So yeah, get your spooky music on because why the hell not? And all that is left is to announce our next episode. If you've seen the poster, you already know what it is. If you haven't, it was a Jill pick that the randomizer picked, which is...
Thank God.
Bodies, bodies, bodies. Which will be fun to talk about because me and Colton talked about it when it came out on Now Slain, but never got to fully deep dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
So
deep dive we shall.
Oh, we shall. So keep an eye for that, and we'll also be back with I Saw the TV Glow when that comes out, and we've seen it for Now Slain, and I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of other Now Slains out. It's just horror movie season, guys, so we'll be there. So get all that in your eye holes, and we will be back. As always, thank you for all the support. I'm your humble host, Rowan.
Thanks, it's Mike.
And bye, it's Jill.
A purchase on a horizon, a panoply of temptation. Can a curious soul desist? The hesitation in your voice, soon to be an echo in the recesses of the spheres of retail.